We're going to be talking about Wizard Barrister today, and my overall thought about this show is it's one of the other shows known as Witchcraft Works and Magical Warfare that I think Japan might be going through like a little Harry Potter craze, if you will. I'm not sure. I haven't been monitoring all of the anime that was coming out last year, so this might not be a brand new thing that's happening. But Wizard Barrister definitely has a more different approach to how they want to present this very strange storyline. I say that because it feels like I'm watching an episode of Law and Order mixed in with Phoenix Wright, and that is not a bad thing at all. Like it opens up different alleys to it kind of feels like in the areas of the where X-Men comes from. The whole prejudice towards something completely different from society. Like in this show, wizards are made public, and but they're treated as pretty much a racist stereotype almost. But and the magic of this show really shines when you get into when you see a situation happening, such as the first episode. The main character, I can't remember most of the names in the show, but I'll describe it to you. The main character is a purple-haired girl who wants to become a lawyer so that she can save her mother's life from going through the death penalty, which is really good. And her first case is involving a bank robbery perpetrated by a group of wizards trying to get money, and but it goes wrong when one of the employees that work there is a wizard himself and acts in self-defense at saving one of the other employees' lives. But people are thinking that he was an inside man in the overall in the job of the bank robbery, and now he's getting blamed for unleashing one of the I don't know exactly what they are, but they look like summoned beasts that materialize from the metal. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but it's one of the key evidences that are the key evidence to the actual trial. I really like this approach to the actual show because it makes it smart for analyzing everything that happens, but that starts to wear away a little bit as the show progresses, unfortunately. Though I have only reached up to episode 4 of the entire show, but I'll keep up with it. Anyways, the later shows do actually start to turn out to be very well executed in terms of the different cases. I believe the third episode involved a wizard who was working for a director, and the director thought it'd be a great idea to use his magic for one of the shots in the movie. However, when he does the magic, he gets blamed for an accident that occurs on the show, accidentally killing one of the other actors, and the director doesn't support him on this, just so that he could get him fired, I believe. This happened years ago, and the wizard's girlfriend goes out and outright kills the director for what he did. But this is where it actually gets a little bit confusing. One of the lawyers for the wizards, working with the purple-haired girl, releases the defendant for reasons I don't really understand why. I think he wanted her to escape from the death penalty or something like that, but it's still baffling that someone would actually think to do this. Because I don't think he intended for her to go batshit insane and try to kill everybody in the courtroom. Thankfully, they stopped her. And once more, the actual story gets very interesting in the 4th episode. There is a serial killer wizard who is finally caught by the police department, and is going to be put on trial. But his twin brother wants him to have a lighter sentence put on him, which is actually not bad. In fact, I had the suspicion that it was going to turn out to be that the twin brother was behind all of it, and sadly I was mistaken. And it was one of those points in time where I thought that it was going to do something really smart, but it takes a totally different direction where I didn't want it to go. Pardon me. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Audience members oftentimes think that something else is going to happen, whether creative thinking-wise or just in terms of idealistic plot lines that would pop up. But this is the problem with this is one of the problems that the show has, is that it doesn't explore certain areas. I will start to get into the bad points for me exactly. Strangely enough, one of the minor details of the show that I don't like is the art style, and I know that is a really bad judgment to put on it, but there's just something really odd about the character designs in this show. Like, you have the actual characters themselves is drawn to be realistic, and that's fine, except the eyes and the facial expressions are very, very distracting. More along the lines of the eyes themselves. They're anime eyes, and yes, it's an anime show that you're watching, but it becomes very distracting, and it's like, alright, I'll leave that alone for now, but it's one thing that's really bothering when I have seen shows that has done better. Like, you could say Gantz has done more realistic humans or facial expressions than this show, or I remember Death Note had a very, very well-designed characters in terms of the appearances. But this show, it doesn't really execute that very well, and it's kind of distracting sometimes. Probably one of the bigger things in the show that really bother me is the behavior of the characters themselves. A lot of the different characters that are on the show is one black-haired woman I do remember is who also works for in the Bureau of Magical Lawyers. That is pretty much the key point of the show. She's more outgoing, and I've never really seen her contribute to anything in the show except for like pretty much muscle for arresting other wizards or something like that. But her personality is very odd, and one of the more disturbing things about her is that she will order a large amount of, I think, rice or something, and then proceed to take ketchup and what I think is ranch dressing, and then just fucking ooze all of the condiments onto the rice, and then proceed to eat it. I have a roommate. I've had a roommate that has done that before, but he wouldn't go balls to walls to cover all of it. I mean, he would put all the ranch dressing on his pizza. Nothing wrong with that. But when you put so much on it, it just becomes unrealistic. Like, what the hell, man? Alright, other characters on the show, some of their behaviors do vary from being too carefree or taking their job a little too seriously. One thing that does bother me in the show is that some of the wizard lawyers that go into the actual trial itself don't dress properly. And yes, you could argue that it's their... Oh, a lot of people do that most of the time. Like, sometimes they have a casual Friday or something like that. But no, this is court. You're supposed to dress in a respectable attire and present your case seriously. And yes, they do point it out in the show, which I still don't understand. You cannot get away with that when you just call it your battle gear, which the purple hair girl has spoken up several times. But one of the more disappointing things in the show was in fact that the last two episodes, 3 and 4, when they took into a completely different turn from what I was really expecting. The twin brothers actually turn out to be members of a criminal organization, I believe, that are trying to capture the purple-haired girl for a higher purpose. And I really wish that it didn't go that angle, because it's going to be like any other shonen show that has existed thus far. And I was really hoping that Wizards Barrister was going to be something completely different from that. Hopefully it will get better as it goes, but Wizard Barrister is in trouble if it doesn't come up with a different angle towards what it was going to go for. Though one of the great points about this show is it does introduce a similar topic towards how X-Men is done. That there is a type of population that doesn't fit in with society, and that people are more prone to become not racist in general, but use that as a scapegoat for their own personal gains. And even the police department has actually gotten to this point as well. For example, the chief of the Wizard Lawyer Bureau, or the Wizard Barrister, I guess what we're going to call it, has a sister in the police department who is who thinks that wizards are too dangerous to exist in society. And she has a point there. The wizards do have a lot of power and are unpredictable in many areas, but doesn't really keep an open mind towards the greater good or anything like that. And yes, the head of the bureau, this bureau, doesn't really have any magical powers, but I think that's what makes her character more distinguished. I really wish, though, she had a better design besides the ridiculous butterfly ponytail things that she has. She's not a wizard, but she certainly wants to dress like one. So, there's still more episodes to come for this Wizards Barrister, but if they don't really shape up to something a little bit more serious, Law and Order serious, like, or Phoenix Wright good, then it's going to be in real trouble and not catch everyone else's attention. So here's for hoping. I really want this show to do well. So until next time, I'll see you guys next week.